Okay, do you remember when ChatGPT came out and a bunch of YouTubers were like, oh wow, look at this thing, look at ChatGPT. And at the end of the video, they were like, and ChatGPT wrote this entire script. That was boring and really irritating. So I'm here to tell you to not do that. So AI writing this year, I think, especially going to get extremely embarrassing for people and continue to get worse and worse. I have two concerns. One is about relationships, and then the other is about actually wasting your time because I don't think people know this. AI can actually waste more of your time. So, hi all, this is me, Woody. First and foremost, this is me, Woody. I am a VTuber. I have a VTuber model that this is a program that I made in Unreal Engine and a model that I made in Blender. And I'm speaking to you and I'm looking over a script that I wrote and I'm loosely improvising over it. And I'm looking at it in a virtual teleprompter for my Unreal Engine scene. This video gets sent to my editor who helps delete some of the, the bad takes and the misreads that I do, or just, the little, here's one of them. The little ad libs I do that don't make any sense, that aren't good. I want to be transparent about my process because not everybody is transparent about their process. So let's chat about writing with AI and the good and the bad, and maybe my framework will help you a little bit. I'm actually totally down with an AI writing for me, but it has to be in a specific context. I need to be in a space where I'm not writing something in relationship to another person, or I'm not interacting in a way that would matter to that person. Would I let an AI write a response to an email from my spouse? No. Would I let it write the first draft on a policy document? Yes, absolutely. I write stuff to other people every day. If you're hearing from me, there's a 99% chance that I wrote that it's an actual set of words coming from me. But if you responded to a LinkedIn job post I made, I maybe actually used their AI feature to do a little bit of the legwork. I polished up that draft to make sure it was accurate, but it may have formatted things in a way that kind of directed the flow of my writing, and then I, posted the job. The point of this channel is to talk a little bit more in depth about like how to use AI well, but then also, not lose your creative soul in the process. And some of you all are leaving me really, really good information. Some of y'all are teaching me stuff. It's awesome. So I have questions though about like why people choose to let AI write for them in the first place. It might be helpful if writing's not your strong suit. Like I understand the basic reasoning, but unless you're using it to copy a style or achieve a certain tone that's hard for you to do, why do it in the first place? Honestly, this is like where your time comes in. So what can it really add in most situations? All an AI is going to do is make your initial intention longer and different to read. If someone texts you and asks a simple question, texting's a really funny example, right? It's only going to take up both of your time, you and the other person typing to you, to have a simple response generated in order to respond, right? Like if you have ChatGPT responding to text for you, it's going to take longer than it would be to just type up a response. Even in situations where you need to convey simple information, if you're familiar with all of the people you're writing an email to, writing an email that's as simple and straightforward as the prompt that you would have ChatGPT write on the subject would probably be sufficient for everyone in the email. Like if you need to ask Monique and Tyler for the subject matter, date, and let's say like the place that you're all going to be meeting for a meeting that popped up on your calendar, you don't need to have that rewritten by the AI. You can just be like, hey, Tyler, Monique, what's this thing on Tuesday? Where's it going to be? And what are we talking about? That's the email. Like, that's good. Okay, so I don't want to sound like an old man here who doesn't like AI. I don't want to always sound like an old-fashioned Luddite. I have feelings about this stuff, but like, let's talk about a scenario where you would use ChatGPT, right? Let's talk about a healthy one. So my favorite way to use AI to write for me is when I'm dealing with a system that has power over me. Say I'm like behind on a medical bill and I need to interface with the company and they are rascals. So maybe, another example. Let's say like a client owes me money on an invoice. They're a big company and like it doesn't get completed and they're not listening to me. Maybe the government is asking me to comply with something. I'm getting like an email from a specific office or some authoritative bureau. Now it's time to let the robot be professional. So I would typically get all the information in bullet points, all the information I need to convey, and then I would instruct ChatGPT in terms of what tone I would need in response. I would ask it to be very professional and firm and grounded and respectful. But, you know, like that's like a really stuffy example, and that's really rough. Maybe there's an example where you want to be proactive about something. So maybe you'd like a set of guidelines for a weekend tournament that you're hosting. You're going to host a video game tournament, and you need to post rules for your invited guests. You could sit down and then you could brainstorm all the rules. Writing that all up, you might decide it's easier to start from something ChatGPT makes for you. So like a good example for me is that I use ChatGPT to help me write up a data storage policy. So we do all this work for clients, and we have like all of this really cool stuff that we did with them. Like we have video files, we have executable files, we have motion capture files, and like where does it all go? And does it, you know, stay on our machines? Do we get rid of them? What do we do? You know, like I mean, the short answer is no, but then we need to explain all of that stuff, right? But I just didn't have time to like write up the, you know, like a page and a half of information on all of that stuff. Heck, there's a lot of other simple stuff that's impersonal and fine. Let's say you want to set up a dentist appointment. It's a dentist appointment. Don't overthink it. But you're never going to hear me use it to talk to you in one of these videos. I'm a real person with real thoughts and, you know, a CG face.